My name is Jackson Villagran, and I'm here with Russell Roach for the sociology interview. This will be prompt number one. Here we go. Roach, how do you respond when you realize that you're wrong?
Well, the first step to fixing any problem is to admit that you have a problem. I take that same thing when I'm wrong. You have to admit when you're wrong first, and then you can go about fixing it.
And when you say admit that you did wrong, does that mean admit to yourself or like actually admit to someone that you're wrong?
You have to admit it to yourself first. If you don't genuinely believe that you did something wrong, then it's nearly impossible to truly apologize to someone else.
And do you think that it's important that you actually do say that you're wrong to someone else just so they can hold you accountable?
Yeah, sometimes you'll do something wrong that you know is wrong, however, they don't know. So you would have to admit, like, hey, I did this was wrong. You may not think so, I may not think so, but someone in this interaction was hurt.
All right. Can you give me a specific example of something you've been wrong about?
Yeah, I was dared the other day to steal pizza from a party, and I believe he meant one slice. However, I took 4 boxes, and the people at this party were not too happy.
Why do you think you came to the conclusion that you were wrong?
Well, the people at this party very kindly let me know that they paid for that, and I should have thought more about stealing things that people essentially took time out of their day to go and purchase and set up for other people to enjoy, not for me to steal.
Yeah. What did it feel like emotionally to you to be in the wrong? Not just when they were screaming at you, but I guess after.
Well, I had never put thought into like somebody had to. I thought someone else had maybe paid for it, but it came out of their pocket. I felt bad for essentially just stealing, straight up like money from people. And so I of course felt terrible because I wouldn't like go up to them and steal like $30, but I essentially did that with pizza.
Yeah, if you don't mind, can we go a little bit more in depth than just bad? Would it be correct of me to say that you felt guilty?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to be more specific about that. Yeah. Ooh, and then I'm supposed to ask you. What is your Okay, I'm just gonna move on. What is a social issue that you feel is most difficult for others to adjust or change their minds?
I believe climate change.
Interesting. What is the reason why this specific social issue causes difficulty for people to change their viewpoints on?
Because much like the previous question, people cannot admit whether they are wrong or right, and why people can't agree essentially on why people think one way or another, and so it's like this perpetual issue of some people think it exists and some people think it doesn't, and if there's facts to back it up and we're not doing anything about it because some people just want to be right for the sake of being right, then it's a perpetual issue essentially.
Okay. So my next question is, what role does unconscious bias play in people's ability to adjust or change their perspectives? And unconscious bias is basically just the assumptions you make in your mind on a particular issue or on a particular topic without even thinking about it, just unconsciously.
Well, I guess to give an example, if you have someone from like a farmer out in the middle of nowhere versus someone who like lives in the city or something, they might disagree on climate change, and they might just straight up disagree, or one might think the other, oh, the guy from the city thinks, oh, this dude's a farmer, this dude's stupid, he didn't go to college, and so he might not actively think that, but he might assume that when meeting, and vice versa, oh, he's some city guy.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't, he doesn't know what he's talking about, he hasn't been in the real world.
Yeah.
stuff like that.
That kind of leads into my. Thank you for saying that. That kind of leads into the next part, tribalism. Tribalism would be when we assume people are wrong because they're just from a different group or an opposing or not positively aligned tribe. Basically, just how they're not in your group, so they have to be in some way against your group. And
you could do the same thing for like political opinions too.
Yeah. Yeah. So you basically just described why tribalism plays into our ability or inability to adjust our perspectives.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm Jackson Villagran. This has been Russell Roach, my roommate. And that will be the end of this interview.